Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to do the Swordsman. He has the Zweihanda, if I can pronounce that close enough, which attacks in a cone wherever he is. I have stripped him of all his gear so I can talk about the different pieces of gear I want to equip with him. First of all, I don't like this issue. You can't hover the character that you want to hover if you already have him selected. Anyways, so his crit chance is pretty decent. So he can over crit if you go really crit build, but his crit bonus is pretty low. So you'd have to focus kind of heavily on the over crit, make that really big. Over crits will allow you to gain the crit bonus multiple times. So an over crit of 2 or an over crit of 3 would just be 2 times crit bonus or 3 times crit bonus, plus the base damage, of course. So he has really high base health, good movement speed, good defense, good block, all that jazz. He does gain base damage on a per level basis, so if you're able to get to level 100, which isn't insane to expect, at least at my point, maybe not on your first few runs, that's going to be a lot harder due to achievements giving huge experience bonuses here. A lot of achievements for that experience bonus, though. Yeah, so he gains bonus health, bonus damage, and bonus percent damage. The base damage only goes to his main hand, but the percent damage, I believe, is global. So, on any character that does physical damage, or if you have a specific build in mind that eventually will do attack effects, like the flamethrower, dragonfire ability, the Echoing Band is absolutely amazing. It's not the most interesting thing. It's not like going all in on a crit build, but it is very good. I'm going to go ahead and just do the base damage here. So 10 base damage is still pretty good. It's maybe not as good as crit chance. He does have higher base crit chance. I didn't mean to do that. Guiding Star could be actually a better item just because you're getting more attack speed if you're standing still, and this character can actually stand still a little bit better than some of the other characters. Thorn Fist can be good if you're going for more of a crit build. This is better with crit damage since it's a guaranteed over crit of 3 times. Fencer Gauntlets can be fun if you're actually wanting to stand in enemies and just get free hits. Multi-strike on the melee classes does not give multiple projectiles because they don't have any projectiles. So instead, they will hit in sequence right in front of them. And if you put auto-aiming on, they will often actually turn around in like frame-perfect scenarios and hit entire other groups of enemies. So I do prefer the multi-strike. I'm going to go with that. I also enjoy Scars of Toil, as I've done a lot of that in my other videos. Maiden's Tear I just unlocked. Also very good if you don't get hit, but I do tend to run Mask of Madness on most of my builds. I've tried a bunch of the other helms. I haven't tried this one yet. This one's pretty good. The Fragile is really helpful. Not always the best, but it is fun. Gorgon Mask, I unlocked that recently, well, before I started doing some of these videos, so I haven't really played around with that too much, excuse me, at all. And I believe the base damage ring buffs that magic damage, so can potentially be really strong. I haven't tested that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works, because it does work with other abilities. It just doesn't work with the on-hit effects like burn. So Mark of the Sword, this is the Swordsman's mark. You have to hit like Agony 3 or something, if I recall. It's good for just base regen if you don't want to change up your options. You run the same mark as the character. I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't want to run the character's normal mark because it's not flooding your character trait pool, that kind of thing. And of course, if you want to run a different mark, that's totally optional. But just as a context, the capacity to run no mark is there, but I don't know why you would want to. Let's see here. So this one I would only wear in the case of you really want some early game damage, or you specifically want the Norseman's character traits. I would say this one's probably one of the weaker ones in the sense of bonus damage, because it's additive, is just not amazing. Mark of Knowledge, this is crazy because you can just have every single one of your ability scrolls be tomes. That alone is good, pretty good, because it means you don't have to reroll. Mark of the Grenadier can be good with projectiles. Obviously, the warrior is using a sword here. The swordsman is using a sword, so that's not helpful. So I am just going to go very generic here. Mark of the Arrow is going to be one of the best that you can run, just because there's a lot of crit in there. There's attack speed in there. I think there's some multi-strike in there. The sorceress is the actual queen of multi-strike, though. So I will commonly run defense and health on a character. Some basic stuff here. I will typically run defense and health here with Scars of Toil. Mask of Madness keeps Scars of Toil active because you're constantly losing a little bit of health here and there. I don't like the upgrades to Scars of Toil because it typically reduces your base health, which makes you basically have nothing to be missing. But with a character like the Swordsman, you can hit 1,000, maybe 1,500 pretty easily, max health, I mean. Which then if you play relatively safe or on a specific level, like the first few, like the Aqueduct might be, pretty easy, things like that, then you could be missing 750 or even a full 1,000 health, which is 100% damage on a basic item. Yeah, you have to play a little bit safer, maybe, but not crazy. It's pretty good. Of course, it's additive, so again, it could be better to run something else. I know some people really like the Jade Amulet. I've seen posts about that. It did get nerfed. I think it used to be like 50 or 60%. But every single level that your character is within the dungeon, it reduces. So at level 60, it becomes 0 and then just does nothing, which is, you have to trade it up. You have to find something. Gatherer's Charm is useful for just getting your potions online if you really want that 10% movement speed, sure, whatever. Anyway, so I am going to go probably, actually, I'm going to keep this. 20% health is enough. That's an extra 100 health. And anything you pick up in the level, of course, too. So just to refresh here, we got base damage, we've got echo damage, we've got crit. We're going to start the level with 30% crit. So this is the first character. I'm just going to run the first area. Kind of want to show off what this character is capable of doing and kind of focus on what you would normally see here. So I'm not going to pick up the tome right away. I just want to show this character off a little bit. I'm already picking up way too many little gems here. So he has some multi-strike right now because of my gloves. This is cumulative. How to say? This is, it's not chance based. It's just a constant adding in the background. So if I went over here to actually look at my Vaihanda, see my multi-strike is 40%. So every 2 to 3 attacks, I will get an extra strike. And it's guaranteed. So you can manipulate that. And I really like that, actually, for a game like this, because there's not a lot you can manipulate other than your direction. And your main hand weapon is toggleable. So I still keep the auto attack on most of the time. Just click down to turn it off and aim specifically. Now the multi-strike here is in the beginning at least, is maybe not the best. So area and range is really good. It's the warrior's default. I think I might go for that kind of build here. I still would like a little bit of crit, get that over crit going. So we'll take that. But yeah, multi-strike isn't the greatest in the beginning for the warrior because you're going to most likely just one-shot things. It can be really good against things like the blobs, which split, the bigger blobs. Let's see here. 6% movement speed and 70 health, or 9% movement speed and 50 health. I'm a little bothered that these are the same thing, but in reverse. I guess it's showing the bigger number first. I'm going to take that. There's some multi-strike attack speed that he can go, just regular damage. That's obviously better than that, so you could take both of them with a memory potion. Other than that, force on his weapon is just going to do knockback, whereas for the archer it's pierce. I don't really like a whole lot of this, but I'll just take the 20 damage. I'll try to speed this up a little bit and talk a little bit less about the traits, because that's the major factor that kind of slows down the game, or at least the recording. Where is it? I'm going to intentionally take some damage. Got a lot of health and some decent block and defense here. The game item is really nice. Not a fan of that right now. Definitely a fan of that. Not very good at the moment. We only have a few levels. There we go, proficient stance. We can take the other one next level. These are the early slimes, they're not too big a deal. I'm not one-shotting them all the time, but it looks like I'm one-shotting them sometimes. Probably because of multi-strike, so it's really 2 strikes. Hitting them. But yeah, we hit about 63% damage bonus on the Scars of Toil. That's where I think that is just really handy. And your regen is probably going to be partially negated by the Mask of Madness, which we're already gaining 7% something. Oh, I just got a bunch of healing there. Stand on me. There we go. Okay, we'll go ahead and actually claim something here. I tend to be a bit of a thematic player. Morningstar fits with the character I'm playing. I'm going to go with range here. So range does increase your range, whether you're melee or ranged. The melee, it increases the distance of the cone, where area increases the angle or width of the cone at the end. Not quite one-shotting these still. That multi-strike is going to come into play here with the slimes. Skeletons kind of just crumble though. I believe with the Morning Star, area increases kind of the cone shape that it's making, but it goes wider-ish. Kind of the same concept there. I don't know. I don't tend to banish things unless I'm really looking for a specific build. I know a lot of people will just banish everything that they don't like. I do like using my memory potions a lot, which... Let's go damage and range. Which, if you're looking for two specific things at the same time, you need a lot of rerolls potentially, or just having something on the screen that you don't normally want to take gives you that reroll if you're just getting up there in levels and you're not sure what you want to take. So try to take, you know, priority stuff, but I tend not to banish things. I usually take maybe 1 point into pickup and then just kind of leave it or banish it. But I'm not a huge min-maxer in that sense. Want this though. So the more health we have, the more we can get out of the Scars of Toil. 1,300 health already here. Don't need more base health. Here. Yeah, I'm going to probably focus on that crit chance. You can see how my attack, I'm just going to force it to go left here. You can see my attack is getting bigger and bigger. So I do like the range on that. I don't know if it's worth it, but... And I'm not going to waste any more rolls. So I've said a couple times how I like the simplistic AI here that is also really fun to manipulate your movement. You only have so many pieces of control within this game in the actual combat. Mostly just where you're facing. So the skeletons just walk towards you real slow. They're pretty fragile. Those imps that were just there, they run at you pretty quick. And then whether they hit you or not, they kind of back up instantly. I don't know if that's because they're responding to something else or exactly what there, but so they just kind of show off. The little dudes go away. Yeah, the little dudes are dead. And bosses all have these relatively heavy telegraphs. Turn off my auto attack here for a second. You see that they just kind of walk into you, and then they'll commonly just back up here and there. They might be backing up based on you killing a nearby enemy. Not sure. I don't particularly care here about those items. Let's turn auto attack back on. Boxes do have rarity item boxes. The last one was yellow, this one's white. White means there's less items typically and they're lower value. So Beltons are now wearing armor, so they're a little tankier. The reason I'm not picking up that box is I don't care about the experience if I don't get something I want. Some damage on purpose here. I'm getting 94% bonus damage off of that. You can see that I'm still not killing everything just easy peasy or anything. I'm pretty safe, but... What was I wanting? I wanted the range and damage. Oh, that's the range and damage. I wanted the crit. There it is. 2 potions for it, though. I'm just going to look at the range. So we've got 75% range. We've got a bunch of attack speed. What's our multi-strike? 60% and 50% crit chance. These little wizards love to just hover in the middle of all these other dudes. Good to just take them out. Damage in area versus multi-strike and range. Damage in area. Multi-strike might have been a better choice there. Since damage is so additive. We're looking at what? Yeah, over a 300% damage boost right now. So an extra 10% is, what, 3%? Something like that in real damage. I'm not sure why this has base force. I want to say that might have something to do with its damage. I don't remember how the Morningstar works. Let me double check that. Force multiplies damage. There we go. Yeah. So it has a really high crit chance. A red box. Still want that crit chance. I know it's only main hand weapon, but it's fun. And I'm just gonna go fast. Or go faster. I got 2 greens. I'm going to re-roll it just to see what I can get here. %, chance of 40%. This one has a larger radius because it scales with radius. More health is also very nice if I'm going to continue focusing on the Scars of Toil. But I think this is actually better. Actually, I'd probably wear both of those and it would be strong. That's actually good. I'm going to do that. I'm going to see how that plays out. I don't know if I can actually find that out. At least not on this page. I'll just go back. I'm not even sure how you would test that. It would be kind of tedious. But I'm pretty sure it would probably work that way. So just while I'm here, I'm going to talk about block in this game. This character has some decent base block. The shield man, of course, has the best block. And I hopefully get... Wow. No, I'm going to refuse it. I'm that guy. So in showing off these videos, I'm not super concerned with hitting Agony 5 every time. It does make the run longer if I've taken a lot of time on this page, picking my traits. I'm more... It's more interesting for me to talk about like the extra health and like how to use it and different things like that. I like game mechanics. I like talking about game mechanics. I'm not a huge meta slave, so to say. I don't min-max in a lot of my games. I like to try really stupid builds. Okay. That seems really good. I needed level 3. I thought I already had it. So I believe it's level 3 and level 6 that you need for each of the ability upgrades to show up. And then you can only have 3 ability or 3 variations there. This is probably one of the best abilities in the game. I showed this off in the Kugelblitz. I pronounced that even close to the right way. But it only affects the main weapon, which makes it so that the Sage is absolutely insane. Where if you take, say, crit bonus here, or this damage and force, these are global. That's not. So I'm actually going to ignore it for right now. Actually don't know how fast this attack is. The lightning ball, because I can't pronounce that every time very well. The lightning ball ability is, it's okay in my opinion, but primarily it's just insanely powerful on the Sage if you can hit the right timing with it, and then it just goes crazy. You do need the Archer's Mark. And then you double it, and it attacks like 10 times a second or something, or more, and it just instantly procs lightning, electrify, and then when it procs 20 of those, then it overprocs basically for 3,000 damage every time it would normally proc the trigger the every time it would normally trigger the Electrify, it then triggers like a 3,000 damage Electrify effect, basically. And since it's hitting so often and has such a high chance to trigger Electrify, you're just going to continue triggering it like every hit. Okay, I want the other thing. I want that, or both. Maria. Hey, that's nice. It gave it to me. So this is probably getting pretty close to 100%, yeah. And then our regular attack is not as close, but... Probably could have doubled either one of those. So our attack speed is just gonna skyrocket here now. Going from 0.85 to 1.0 per second as the base attack speed. Only affects the sword, sadly. But on the Sage you can take any ability as your primary weapon, so it becomes your main hand, and that's why the lightning bolt can go crazy there. There's our multi-hit getting going on some different stuff there. I have no idea which is better here. I want to do this. So now we should be hitting 100% almost. Taking some damage on purpose there, just standing in it. We're at 160, not quite, 160% bonus. Thing that I like. This triggers off a magical. I mean, that's what it's called. But so this one gives area, this one gives magical trigger. Magical does not mean elemental, it means magical, as far as I'm aware. So not every character can trigger that. I was going to talk about block earlier. About that, actually. Looked interesting. I've only recently unlocked all the things with the Morningstar. So I haven't seen all the abilities in action yet. But yeah, block. So block in this game is based on the amount of damage being dealt. I think it's actually a really creative solution. I don't know if it comes from another game or as a borrowed mechanic or anything. But the higher the damage, the lower percent chance to block the damage. So if the damage was 100, and your block was 100, you would have a, I think, 50% chance to block that. And if the damage was 200, you have 100, I believe it drops down to like 25%. And I think it's kind of inversely related as well. I have to test that or look at some of that. It's been a while. Actually going to, no, I'm going to get rid of a 5. Every one of these little explosions you see on the screen is actually the echoing band. It is doing work. It's doing 4 million damage, almost tied with my actual weapon. I don't know if it would be better to run 2 of them or not, but yeah. So inverse relationship on block, I believe, is true, or close enough. So if you had 200 block and the damage was 100. I believe you'd have something like 75% chance to block it. So pretty high, something like that. We go up here, block strength. 100% chance if it's 1/3 or 1/4 of the value. 1/4, approximately. If I got hit for 10, I have 39 block, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, if it was 39 damage and 39 block, it'd be 50%, and then, yeah, 20% at 97 damage. I'm not sure the ratio on that. I'm literally just walking into enemies at this point. I don't know. I think base damage is usually like 20%. Doesn't say that, but I think that's usually what it is. With enough defense and enough block, or even regen healing from items, you literally can just walk through enemies. So this is pretty good. Damage force, attack speed, and multi-strike as a percentage versus base damage. I got lucky there. That's less for the damage and more for the other stats. I can't get a lot of the other stats necessarily. I mean, without Mask of Madness or things like level 2 hunting gloves or whatnot. There's a box over here. Let's go see what's in that. So this gives attack speed, multi-strike, force, and damage. I'm going to take it, but I'm going to see what my actual value is here. So, okay, we still have a decent amount of health here. I did focus health though. We're getting 40% attack speed, multi-strike, and force now, which is really good for the Morningstar. We do get some attack speed out of the Max Madness, but I'm going to drop these. I'm going to take some damage. Where'd he go? Come back. Okay, now we got the butterfly pattern. So they'll reach out a little bit farther to the left and right, and you get more total of them. I'm getting to a point, at least on this level, that it's actually hard for me to take damage unless I probably stand in it. We lost a lot of damage, but we gained a lot of attack speed and multi-strike and all that jazz, so. More base damage. Base force. I don't know the relationship between these. Base damage. I will say I'm not a huge fan of things basically being near equivalent. So if that damage is near equivalent to the force bonus, I don't know if it is, but if it is, then it's kind of a weird selection. It's less fun in my mind. You know, personal opinion, of course, but just because now you're trying to compare, you're trying to do math, you're trying to understand what's going on behind the scenes, because here now I have to think, okay, what is 12 base damage? Well, I know it's probably either 25 or 35% of the base. I've taken multiple of them. But the base force, how much does that affect it? I hope those are considered melee. We want this one. I'm doubling it. Okay, now we have insane attack speed. And now I need to check to see if this is actually a... We've got a multiplier of 3.0 almost. But I have no idea. Yes, so Ethereal Shift counts this as a projectile. I don't like that. I think that's silly. But whatever. I would probably categorize that as some kind of melee-ish attack for other reason. It almost seems like it's both. I have to check this. This is... It is. It is considered both ranged and... See it right there. Plus 100% and then minus 400%. And do any damage whatsoever? It does 0 damage. Okay, this is funny. It is applying a slow. So if you were trying to do some kind of slow effect, I guess this might be a good way to do it. Oh, hey, I got an achievement. I guess one of the best ways to get that achievement is to turn off your weapon. But yeah, so I do no damage with the Morning Stars now. I might want to report that. Counting as both melee and range simultaneously. Weird. This game technically is in early access. It's very functional. I haven't seen a whole lot of bugs. There's some bugs with some of the achievements here and there. You might get an achievement from the wrong effect or something. Still requires quite a bit of damage usually to get certain achievements with certain abilities, but I know some of the damage types will trigger the wrong ability kind of thing. Well, I would hope Spectral Fist counts as melee. Let's see. Punch things? Yes, it can. Spectral Fist does count as a summon, but it does not gain attack speed. Base defense. So I am playing with really low health. Most things can't hurt me, but having negated Morning Star basically entirely. See how this plays out. Let's see, lightning. Do I want to turn my fist lightning? Not particularly. I have been playing around with some Spectral Fist stuff. I don't have all the achievements with it yet. But I do like the idea of it having a lot of area crit. Got a lot of damage here. I'm not sure that this damage bonus is a significant, choice. This one is. This one is decent. No reason not to take that. That one, of course, is pretty good. Crit. I have no idea what this does. I think it's the force modifier. I think it has a force modifier like Morningstar. I don't remember what else there was. Minus base damage plus 10% base damage. This is good. I don't remember how good. Yeah, so you lose a little bit of damage and then gain a ton of damage. That kind of falls in with the hard to compare, hard to understand, a lot of math going on there. You have to go look at things. It's not displayed to you. If it was displayed to you, it might be nicer. Just like what the base damage is so you can make that decision. But it's hard to make that decision when you just don't see all the numbers. At least on that screen you can't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if these Morning Stars did damage, even a little bit of damage, they'd be going ham right now. That is for sure. We took the other one of this, we're just going to do this. This box down there I want. But as you can see, you can kind of do some really simple builds and still get through the game, especially on the first level. This is the first level. We're not doing anything too crazy here. Yeah, we'll take that. And drop the originals. Just in case I get a little too low in these mobs. If only I could figure out how to make this actually do damage again. Just don't know. Here's a situation where I'll just take something because I was looking for something else. We are still losing a lot of health from the Mask of Madness, but we have a decent amount of regen, so as long as I don't get hit by a lot of these projectiles, we're good. I did find this level to be a little bit more difficult with certain builds on the Sage. If you're trying to go like for a special, I was going for a special spectral fist build that was trying to get an achievement, and I didn't take enough other abilities to really make it useful, and I actually got outnumbered because spectral fists attack so slow. That's what I wanted. So if we can get this to even have... Uh, 35, 40, 50... Oh, I can't do that math in my head. 75, 100... I mean, we're not too far off, but we're also really far off because there's not a lot of options left. I think that's just a bug, though. I really do. It's affecting both sides of it. Attack speed and damage. That's super weird. Also a note that Ethereal Shift is a newer trait that you unlocked, I believe, from the Sage. Really easy to kill these little dudes. A boss, though. Not so much. A lot of health. Wait, if we doubled that, I wonder if we could get close to... I'm just curious if we can get Morningstar to actually do damage again. This is a weird situation to be in. Oh, I'm thinking the wrong thing. That was for fists. Well, fists will do more damage. I'm gonna stand in this puddle for a little bit. It is handy that there are like fire path patches and acid patches and stuff that you can stand in when you do become a little too strong for other things. Each level has its own ground hazard, generally. More crit damage. I really want the glove power-up, the pickup power-up, but it's, I think, really far to the right. I was coming down here for the other stuff. That's down here. Ability scroll and whatnot. Ooh, 2 boxes. Okay. Well, that's not nothing for experience at this level. Pretty sure I'm getting more off of that. I'm not sure what value this is, but we'll do it. Only 18%. Okay then. The other boots were better. At least for now. there's a hand up there. More crit damage. As I was saying earlier, I haven't unlocked everything for the Spectral Fists yet, so I can't give a strong judgment on them yet. But as far as I understand, there is a an upgrade from the scrolls that will actually give you the ability to have them scale with attack speed. By default, they do not. Let's go size. Big fists. I can only imagine how much all these spikes would be doing if they did any damage. They're just going mad. I need to go left now, which is a harder direction to move. A little bit harder. More crit. I don't actually have enough movement speed to dodge some of these attacks unless I move directly and instantly away from them. As with all enemies, body contact is an issue here. Not the regular projectile, or the regular explosions. I've got extra lives though, like, that's gonna reduce my agony though. That is not what I'm trying to do. So because I revived, I actually am weaker due to relying on Scars of Toil, which is an interesting circumstance. Not much at this point. A lot of my damage capacity is just locked up. I'm going to get a little defensive here. I would like some movement speed. Regen would be good. So something to note, I can take this hat off and still, I believe, have all the bonuses. Yeah, I do. Already paid the health price of it, so to say. I'm going defense just because I'm really low health. Doesn't really matter too much. You can see my range is insane with even a melee attack. Covers most of the screen on one side. I may actually die a second time here, which is disappointing. There we go. Oh, there's a second phase. It's been a while since I've done this level. Even a little food would go a long way here. So he will respawn. A lot easier, I think, to dodge now. Because he's not as fast. Except for when I just walk right into it. Oh. Icon telling me that there's healing up here. Way too much health. I know my build got broken, but way too much health. You can see also that this character, or this enemy, just stays pretty much right on top of me the whole time, even without their mount. And there's my death. So that is all my lives. Not that it matters, because he's got so little health at this point. And he would have gone down a lot quicker if the weirdness with Morningstar hadn't happened, but that boss definitely pushed the video longer. So I did get Morningstar Specialist, which is nice. Unleash Star, I assume it just has no chain. So that is the Swordsman. Yeah. Halls of Torment's a great game. It is still in early access. It was on sale like a week or so ago. It's normally $5. I don't get anything for promoting it. I just like the game. See you in another video.